Okay. All right. Come on, Frank. Come here. All right. Well, so I'm making this video. I don't know. Hopefully, I get to upload this to my channel. Not really sure. Been having some problems with my uploads to my YouTube channel. I look like shit. I know it. Israel has finally done what they have said they were planning on doing for a whole lot of years now. I mean, we can go way back to 2012, 2013, back in there, where Benjamin Netanyahu laid out the case that Iran must never have a nuclear weapon. And now, I'm not Team Israel. I am not Team Iran. I'm Team America. I'm an American. Okay. So I'm not taking sides. And there's going to be anybody and their dog, if they watch this video, are going to start barking at me about the Zionists. Well, believe me, you're barking up the wrong tree for a lot of reasons, but I'm not getting into that. I want to stay on the topic, because I'm bad about wandering everywhere when I start talking about these things. But here's the point. Israel launched a preemptive strike yesterday against Iran. They took out a lot of the top military leadership, apparently some of the top nuclear scientists, and they hit some, supposedly hit some of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. Now, who, what, when, and where, there's videos about that show maps and everything, and so I'm not getting into that. I'm just one dude. I just got home from work a while back, and I'm sitting around watching this stuff. Well, Iran hit back with a lot of drones, missiles, etc., a lot of which was intercepted. Apparently, the United States, Britain, and France all intervened to aid Israel in trying to intercept all that shit. And still, some of it got through. Apparently, there haven't been a lot of casualties. But there has been some hits, and Netanyahu has made a speech about it, telling the Israeli people it'll probably be a long war. Okay. Now, as far as I know, the information I have, Iran has not officially declared war on Israel, but we will see whether they do that or not in the next few days. All right, Freddie, lay down. Stop. What a brat. Anyway, this is what's ongoing with that. And the U.S. involvement in that, all right, we have already given Israel air defense systems and personnel to operate them. From my understanding of it, this was, yeah, there's a cat on my shoulders, and that is Freddie. That was earlier in the year that they did that, and my thoughts on it is this. And once again, I'm not Team Israel. I'm not Team Iran. I'm an American. The defense of a nation state, no matter what that nation state is, is something that I think is the sovereign duty of any nation. And because I support nationalism, and not just for the United States, I mean for every single nation. I don't believe in this international bullshit. It weakens nations, it weakens cultures, it destroys civilization. Internationalism is bullshit. That's my thoughts on it. I believe in nationalism. And because I believe in my country's nationalism, and I support my country's nationalism and return to it, I can't be a hypocrite and say that, okay, what Israel did was wrong, or what Iran did in response is wrong. I can't do that. Each one of these nations is sovereign in their own right. But when a nation poses a threat to another nation, and a nation like Israel does what it did as a preemptive measure, when Iran had threatened to attack U.S. interests in that region, when Israel is facing attacks from Hezbollah, which is sponsored by Iran in Lebanon, that's an ongoing thing. It's been ongoing for almost 2 years now. Okay. I understand their position. That doesn't mean I agree with them or that I take their side, but I do understand it. Now, do I understand the other side? Yeah. Here is what a lot of people either fail to read into the equation or conveniently ignore or whatever. Just a wee bit of history here, okay? Right after the First World War, during the war, the British had coaxed the Arabs to side with them over the Ottomans, over the Germans, etc., and the Austro-Hungarian Empire, all the Central Powers, in order to get them on their side to win World War I. They had also, through the Balfour Declaration, which was a letter written by Lord Balfour to Lord Rothschild, declaring for the creation of a Zionist state in Palestine. So they were playing both ends against the middle. And that's the origins of all this shit. Both sides got lied to. The Jews got lied to, the Zionist Jews got lied to, and the Arabs got lied to. And later on in 1947-48, when this proposal to create a Zionist state in Palestine with a Palestinian state as well, and just, and it wasn't a whole lot of land. You're not talking about like a massive swath of land. You're talking about just a few miles at most. The Jews were on board with it, but the Palestinians turned it down. And thus has sparked this ongoing conflict that has been raging since 1948. It's had a lot of parts to it. Okay, the Six-Day War. Okay, well, let's back up. The War of Independence, as the Israelis call it. The Arabs have a name for it that means the Great Disaster. And then Israel was established. Then there was a war in the 50s. There was the Six-Day War later on in the early 70s, the Yom Kippur War, the wars in Lebanon, etc., etc. And then when Israel ceded the Gaza Strip to the Palestinians, all of a sudden there's rockets, missiles, bombs, and shit coming into Israel. And then a couple years ago, on October 7th, there was this major attack. And the Israelis had been warned that something big was brewing. They'd been warned by the Egyptians. Somehow or another, Israeli intelligence, which is one of the best intelligence gathering and disseminating organizations on the planet, failed to realize the magnitude of the threat that was coming, and this incursion happened. Well, Israel's been fighting a war in Gaza ever since. And a lot of people are like, well, look at all the horror and death in Gaza and all this. And yeah, it's appalling. But here's what you got to read into that and understand. Gaza is like a freaking anthill with hundreds of these tunnels underneath it. And Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. There's no two ways about it. I don't care who you are. Hamas is a terrorist organization. It really is. And I'm not taking anybody's side here. I'm just stating fact. Their whole idea was to wipe Israel out. Israel is a nation state. It's got Arabs living there. It's got Jews living there. It's got Jews of all stripes, from the ultra-Orthodox to the ones that are totally non-religious. You got Buddhists living there. You got all kinds of people. And it is one of the most modern states in the Middle East, if not the most modern. In my opinion, it is. And I would a whole hell of a lot rather live in Israel than any of those damn Muslim-controlled states. I don't want to live in none of it, especially with this shit going on. As an American, I don't have any involvement, but seeing it for what it really is. This shit is not going to end well for anybody. And Israel is surrounded right now by enemies. And they are not going to fuck around. Push comes to shove. If they actually believe they're going to be overwhelmed by their enemies, Israel will respond with what is called the Samson option, and they will use the nuclear weapons that they have. And they have them. Iran is trying to get them, but Israel has them. So this is an incredibly dangerous situation. Oil has already gone up 13% in price since yesterday. The U.S. economy is still fucked up, and this is adding fuel to the fire. Now, yeah, we got our own problems. We got all those fucking goddamn riots out in Los Angeles that could be shut down if it weren't for that bunch of cucks that run California. You got all this other stuff going on. You got the trade war going on, and I got my thoughts about that as well. And I'm not real happy about it. my job, my hours have been cut because of the tariff shit. I'm right now trying to get a second job, and I've got a good prospect for one, but economically this has hit me, so I already get it. Now add fuel to the fire. Here's this shit. Now if all that shit blows up over there, and there is an absolute stoppage in oil production, its dissemination, because it could go everywhere. Now, I'm talking about the conflict. It could explode all over the place over there. And there is no telling who could be dragged into it. God forbid that the Russians and the Chinese decide to get involved. And get involved in what I mean is militarily. If they do, there you go. People have been predicting World War III since I was a little kid. And before that, actually. That shit could really happen. And I know that sounds bombastic and all that, but I'm being dead serious. That could really happen. And all because of this. It only took a few things to get World War I started. And a lot of people want to try to make everything fit the things that were going on that led up to World War II. Well, forget that. Look back. All the chess pieces are in the right spot on the chessboard right now for there to be a third world war. And that is not going to end well for anybody. Well, I got my AR-15, and I got my canteen, and I got my survival bag, and it ain't going to do you a fucking bit of good when there is an overlapping thermonuclear explosion over the area you live in. The nuclear footprint of 3 different nukes going off from a MIRV coming in, you're dead. So is every fucking thing around you for a radius of at least 60 miles. Yeah, that's what's for breakfast, motherfuckers. Alright, that's it.